I guess my comments are really addressed both to first-time voters and serial voters, not flying voters. I guess like Rina, I was once a conscientious objector and boycotter in the Marcos period, and only started voting, of course, post-Marcos or post-People Power. Today, I think, has been a valuable exercise. When we opened the session, I mentioned that we are really using the debate format to reach back into traditional means of discourse, but in a more important way, we're trying to really modernize the face of Philippine politics. We are, after all, not only looking really at platforms of people, and actually, if you take a look at this election, platforms have not been clearly communicated all of the time. What we are looking at really are, I believe the challenge is to find people with integrity, with ethics, people who should gain office by means of merit, by means of their competence. It really is I believe, a test of character and a search for character, not only for individuals, but as a nation to show whether we have the character to really improve our system. We are also looking, I think, for people with some passion and vision to take us forward. I think it was a good insight by Sharmila that says that we look at many of the questions as if we're firefighters, yet in fact, if we're looking for leadership, we should look for leadership that inspires us to do better things in the future, and I think that's important for this election. We have to start now and not postpone this change into the future. As first-time voters, you may not realize the power that you hold in your hands. You are at least, or should be, statistically 4 million strong. For every age group, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and 21-year-olds, which are really the first-time voters, there's at least 1 million people per age grouping, 18 to 21. If many of you had registered and plan to go out to vote, then you do wield some power. If you stretch the youth vote or the younger vote between the ages of 18 to 35, then we're looking really at a majority of the voters. So the power to make a change lies very much in the hands of first-time voters and young voters. I would urge you to exercise this power carefully and in a very deliberate fashion, and to do your homework as these candidates have done in order to make the right choices. Elections and the people you bring into office and the laws that they enact or don't enact will affect your lives for many years. Though they may sit in office for only 6 years, some of them possibly for 12, the legislation they pass might last 25 or even 50 years until their repeal or amendment. So we should not take this task lightly. I would now urge, I think many of you had a chance or an opportunity to vote in a sort of a mock election before you walked in here. And I would urge that all of you on election day, when you take a look at the ballot, fill all 12 slots on the ballot for the Senate slate. Now, this is important because every blank you leave behind leaves your ballot vulnerable to cheating, or gives the undesirables, the ones you don't like, or the ones you hate the most, more opportunity to get in. In the 2004 elections, the average voter filled in only 7 names out of 12, leaving 5 blanks. If you calculate the margin of those 5 blanks down to even the number 13 slot, which is the contested slot, there were only 660,000 votes which separated number 8 to number 13. And from number 12 to number 13, there were only 10,000 contested votes which separated the senator who went in versus the senator who stayed out. This is the case of Biazon versus Barbers. 660,000 votes was all it took and yet 34 million people trooped to the polls to cast a vote. But by leaving so many blanks, you left statistical chances for people you don't like to get in. Elections for the Senate is a race of rank, not number. So even if you voted for only 6 or 7 people, the top 12, some of whom you may not like, you have just improved their chances of getting in. So I urge you to fill in all 12 names. Now, many people say you cannot think of 12. Well, we have no choice. The menu is fixed before us, the list of names. You need not limit your names to the ones that you know, or the ones in the administration or the opposition party. You have qualified candidates among other parties and among independents. I think it is incumbent upon us to do the homework to be able to make the final selection. Today marks just the 20th day before elections. Now, as students, many of you are used to cramming in 5 days. So 20 days, I think, is plenty time to do the homework in order to find out more about the candidates. And you can use the internet. There are many, many websites that contain some of the candidates' records and backgrounds, and you can Google search them. So I think in 20 days, it's time to do the cramming and make, the best choice of our lifetime to this stage. And I urge all first-time voters to fill in the ballot and make a choice. To the candidates, I'd like to just thank everybody who appeared today for speaking so forthrightly and so passionately and so eloquently with their views. I'd like to also thank the candidates for being so disciplined in terms of the time. This is really one of the problems that we have seen in many debates where they run out of time, but I'm happy to see that we kept well within the time, and I'd like to thank you for that. I think the fact that they were here rather than campaigning outside somewhere else also shows us how much they value your vote in the future and how much they'd like to communicate to you and your peers. So it'll be helpful, I think, if you tell your peers and your classmates what happened today and maybe recount what happened and help them make informed decisions on May 14th. And finally, I think it's important, guard your ballot, don't take anything for granted. You have 2 basic rights. You get the right to vote, and you have the right to make sure your vote is counted properly. The first right, I can guarantee it. The second right, I can't. You got to go out there and and make sure you guard your own ballot. So with that, I think we're going to close and turn over to the JCs, and hopefully there'll be a little time for you, so we cut early, so you can actually get to meet the candidates and ask them your own questions as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our panel of moderators. There's just one announcement. Many of you went through the mock election as you entered, and these are all from first-time voters. We shall post on our, we'll email to you the results. If you're interested, you can visit DB8 2007 at yahoo.com.ph. And to those candidates present, we will gladly share with them the results. Now, the battle cry is vote wisely, and the operative word there is wise. And you guys have taken the first step. That is knowing our candidates. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Marami pa po tayong pagkain na binigay ng ating mga kind donors. Ang Sun-made coffee, ang ERG snacks, Zesto drinks, ang tender juicy hot dogs, Smokies hot dogs, at ang Uniserve, ang mga tumulong po sa atin. Kaya paglabas niyo po, kung gusto niyo pong makipag-photo op with our candidates and our moderators, you are free to do so. And please partake of our free refreshments. Marami pong salamat at mabuhay kayo lahat.